So what happened, you have two brothers who have absolutely no clue about pen tricks, and you put them to learn two tricks in just one day. Well, that's exactly what we'll do today. We've all seen mind-blowing tricks here on YouTube, and we couldn't help but wonder how difficult they will be to master. We will choose some cool but manageable tricks to learn, and see if we can learn them in a short time frame. For my first trick, I decided to do the pen spin.
For this trick, the pen will be placed in between my index and middle finger. And the goal is to get the pen to spin in a circular motion by only using those two fingers.
Sounds simple enough, right? Well, that's what I thought until I tried it. I had no idea how my fingers had to move to get the pen moving in that manner.
At first, all my attempts just resulted in me moving the pen up and down. I found myself moving the pen too quickly, making it hard to understand what I was doing wrong. So I started to slow down my movements, focusing on getting that complete rotation of the pen. I kept on trying for a short while until I saw my first pen spin, and then the next.
At this point, I had a better idea of how this worked, so I kept on trying with the correct movements until I finally got to do it for multiple cycles. Yes! Finally!
For my two tricks, I had no idea what to do. My brother already had his two, and I was completely unaware of what other tricks existed. So, I watched several videos trying to find a balance of cool looking tricks and on the beginner side of things. After some time, I found the perfect two. To start with, I'll be doing a trick called wipers, which it seems very hard when people do it at full speed, but when you break it down, it's quite simple. Basically, you place the pen in between your thumb and your index finger, pointing it upwards. From here, you would let it drop so the tip would face down while you catch it with your middle finger. You then push the pen up with your middle finger. Then again, you swing the pen to the opposite side, catching it with your thumb. Finally, you push it back up with your thumb to the starting position, and you can repeat, creating an endless loop. At first, all of this seemed extremely hard for me. My fingers would not know how to grip the pen correctly, and every time I had to swing the pen in between my index and my middle fingers, it would get stuck. Or it would slip and I would have to start all over again. What I learned from here is that the trick works best when I hold the pen from the very tail end of it. This gave me so much more control and it would no longer get stuck. Once I had the basics down and understood the trick, all I could do was practice, over and over again, going from slow movements, getting my fingers used to the motion, and every so often getting faster and faster until I got it in one fluid motion. Let's go, finally!
For my second trick, I wanted to learn this trick called finger slots.
I have to pass a pen from one finger to the next, starting in between my index and middle finger, and ending in between my ring and pinky finger. From here, I bring it back to the starting position, spinning the pen on the opposite side of my hand, from where we started.
It looked easy at first, but getting started proved me wrong. The trick isn't hard, but getting my fingers to cooperate and understand how to make it work was way harder than I imagined.
My fingers felt stiff, making it impossible to spin the pen from one slot to the next, as I would keep on dropping the pen. Keeping this in mind, I would try to relax my fingers to make a successful pass, but it was harder than I thought. To keep my fingers relaxed throughout, I couldn't do much at this point but practice. The best part about this was I could do it anywhere at any time, making the learning process much quicker.
As I continued to practice, I began to feel hopeless that I wouldn't make this work.
But you only fail when you quit.
Last but not least, my second pen trick. I saw this one called the triangle pass, in which the pen sits on the tips of my thumb, index, and middle fingers. The goal with this trick is to spin the pen in circular motion while it stays on the tips of my fingers. Each of these fingers will help keep the pen going while maintaining its balance. Starting out, I found out the pen I was using was not going to work for this trick. It was unbalanced, and one side was way heavier than the other. Luckily, I found another identical pen, so I could steal the pen cap and put it on the tail end of mine, modifying it to create a balanced pen, allowing me to do this trick. To be honest, starting out I had no clue how this trick even works, and watching the video didn't help much. I took it slow, passing the pen in between each of my three fingers, trying to create that circular motion I saw on the video. Starting out as slow as possible, getting used to the movement, and slowly trying to speed it up to get a fluid pen spin. However, this one wasn't as easy as the wipers. I hit a wall, and I couldn't seem to do it for much longer than a second or two, and I could not spin it in clean sweeps as I wanted, so I had to keep on practicing.
A few hours have passed by now, and after such a long while, I started making clean passes. They weren't the best, but I'll take it. Yes sir, finally we did it!
I really struggled with this trick. The longer I tried it, the worse I got at it. My forearms would start to burn after a short while. It felt like a workout, so I would constantly need to take breaks if I wanted to keep going. Frustration really started to set in. I couldn't get the spins to work as I wanted. The more time passed and the more I failed, I was so ready to snap the pen in half and call it quits. But I had already failed before when I learned to juggle, so I couldn't give up this time. I took this pen everywhere and I would be practicing non-stop until it finally clicked. Finally! This felt impossible. It's not perfect and I can't do it for very long, but I'm quite happy with where I am now, and at least I'm not dropping it after one cycle.
Learning pen tricks turned out to be an exciting and rewarding challenge for the both of us. For mastering the pen spin and conquering the triangle path, each trick brought its own set of difficulties and successes. Despite the initial struggles and moments of frustration, the sense of accomplishment we felt when finally nailing each trick was worth it.
So if you have a pen lying around, why not give it a try? You might be surprised at how much fun and satisfaction you can get from learning a new skill.